have ability to come up with order of magnitude value of something. It is a load or stress or output. See, if that idea is not there and you just, computer printed, it says deflection of a cantilever beam is 10 meters and it is only 10 meters length. So they have to have this ability to question, there is something wrong here. So where does that come from? We have to, as instructors or teachers, we have to put that thinking into them. Okay? So then I say students are the next important, because that is the product. Administrators are interested in that product in terms of, in a way, sales, right? If you produce a good product, sales are automatically going to go up. Okay, I will come back to the administration or owners of these institutions in a moment. But we have to think of the students in a way. Of course, we are not going to get into this discipline, all that. Those things probably take care once you instill certain amount of, motivation and also knowledge and other things will take care of themselves. So how do we make these students as good as they can be? And of course it depends on the students themselves, right? If they don't have that motivation, despite having a great teacher, but those are going to be that way. We never can produce every student to be brilliant. Okay, so be it. In fact, I'd say personally, if everybody is a leader, who is the follower, right? Okay, in fact, there would be chaos if everybody wants to be a leader, right? So I'm not trying to justify that we need some dumb students. That will happen. It's the nature. Nature takes care of it. Okay? So, but we have to do the best we can in terms of providing them ability to think and ability to analyze a situation in the engineering problem and ability to make a decision, a judgment on the result. So those have to come from teaching. I've gone into a little more precise things here, but that's what we are supposed to do. So now we come to this administration. And the main problem here, by the way, we have private institutions all over the world, engineering or otherwise, in terms of America lives on because the tuitions are very high. But they do have measures of this, whether you call it accreditation boards or some ways there is also self-evaluations. They are very systematic. So they also know that if they can beat the competition in terms of proving they are better than the others, they will get more students. See, this is what the business models are usually. So, but there is one difference between a true industry and a educational institution as an industry. You can pull the system and still produce bad product and still able to sustain. See, that is what's happening because they are hiring last year graduate with a bachelor's degree to teach this year because he or she is very cheap to hire. Okay, and students get a degree, so this mill runs. And even if they are not that quality, somewhere they will be getting that effect of that. Industry may turn them down, or some of them are so intelligent they probably learn on their own in the job. That will happen. Okay. So what I'm saying is this survival of the fittest is not right phrase in this case. If you let these two institutions let it go the way it is, they are going to say. Only exception would be there are not enough students going through, then they will close. But if they can pull the system in terms of giving them degrees, probably they will go, they go on. So somehow this group or some group has to present in an amicable way to the representatives of these 327 or whatever that number of institutions, a plan where we say we want you to improve the quality. The quality is largely with the faculty. First, that is the foremost really. quality of students, all that is given. Whoever comes in, they are coming. That's it. Right? You cannot change that. So whoever left over from going to NITs and IITs and state universities, they are coming through these private schools. If they are excellent students, they are not going to go through. They will have merit to be able to get to NIT or IIT. So we have to make a presentation or make a case to these administrators that if you pay attention to some of these things, you will make money and you will have reputation that will bring more students in, and you can even hike the price. I mean, this is what it is. MIT, Harvard, they have tuition double that of Texas A&M. Okay? But Texas A&M is not the one to be compared here. We are talking about 4-year community colleges. Those are more comparable to what we are talking about here. So I think I've said enough, but I don't have any specific agenda, but other than this desire and some ideas to share with you and work with you. So if I'm not needed, I have a lot of work to do. There's no problem. Okay. But at this age and time in my life, I want to give. Okay, I've been doing it, but in a technical way, not in this form. I mean, all these travels I do, I go to nook and corner of the world, I teach short courses, I teach in a way they really appreciate. They might have taken FEM, final element course, or worked in the industry for 10 years. And when I explain them, then they know that they misunderstood a lot of things. That is where, I made the impact. Of course, this is not, I'm being less modest, but it's not just writing books to put it on the resume. I write books to explain in a way the receiving end understands. I'm not competing with John Tinsley Orden, who was my advisor, very famous, or Ted Belichko, who just passed away, or Tom Hughes, or Zienkiewicz, who is passed away. All of these are great people in my field. But I've written books, none of them could compete. In fact, some of them didn't even come to second edition. Okay, so why I said about myself is, it is really my passion for teaching came largely from my passion for research and working with these young people, explaining them how things work. And that I took into class. And so, of course, unfortunately, a lot of young people these days, they only think of writing journal papers and getting students graduated. And when time comes to go to the classroom, they just gather some of the notes while cleaning the board. They think, what should I do today? So I take every young faculty comes to my department. I take them to lunch, explain to them, you should not be here unless you are interested in teaching. You can do research in a government lab, go to Bell Labs or GE or GM. You can do it. So why are you here? Because you should be interested in teaching these young people. Mold them, right? So you have to spend enough time. Once you're done with the class, come back and change gears. Think of research. See, of course, that is not that easy, by the way, changing the gears. Some people get carried away by the praise that comes from the students. Then they start peeling the banana, putting in their mouth. And that is bad teaching. Because that kind of help doesn't come once you go to industry. You have to make them to think, they have to learn to do things. You should only help to an extent that you deem necessary. Beyond that, it is not a help. You are spoiling them. So I tell all these things. So anyway, what I'm saying, the teachers have to have all these kind of ideas in mind and passion and of course knowledge, the subjects to be able to explain. Thank you for listening to me.